Hey, Board Gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Gumbo Live. It's episode number 131, Gumbo Live, the number one Facebook Live talk show in Santa Cruz, California, dedicated to board gaming. Our special guest tonight, it's Grant Lyon. He's a comedian and a board game designer, and we'll be talking with him about his new game, Curmudgeon, Board Game Gumbo, a proud member of Punchboard Media. Hey, check out some of our other fine members like Lindsay and Aaron. They're from another podcast under Punchboard Media, but they've got a new one for Boards Alive. They've got a new podcast all about classic movies and TV that they haven't seen, but their guest has. Are the guests' beloved shows still as good as they remembered? Find out on Cult Classic Callback. Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. A couple of quick show notes before we get started. Our first ever Gumbo merchandise, I've got it up on the screen. Check out our Game Crafter link to get a copy of our very own Board Game Gumbo Blu-ray deck with instructions on the gameplay. Carlos did an awesome job. It's a premium deck of cards. Make sure to check it out. Hey, Steve, it makes a perfect holiday gift. That's right. Blu-ray Gumbo. We'll find out if Grant has ever played Blu-ray. Hit us up on social media, on Twitter or on Facebook or on YouTube at Board Game Gumbo, and we'll be looking for your questions in the chat. Hey, but enough blather. Let's get right to our special guest. It's Grant Lyon. Hey, man, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's me. Thanks for having me here.
Welcome up. What's up, Grant? All the way from Santa Cruz, California.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't lived in Santa Cruz for a while, but I still love it. Okay, Santa Cruz is such a dope place.
You did go to school there.
I did.
Right?
I went to college at UC Santa Cruz.
Steven.
Also, I want to say, not to just be a compliment fest right out the gate, but I love that Zydeco intro music. I think Zydeco is one of the most underrated music type there is. It's so much fun all of the time.
Steve, greatest guest ever. He said Zydeco on the show.
Oh, yeah, I know Zydeco. Dude, I had two of my cousins for their wedding, instead of having a DJ, had a live Zydeco band at their wedding. Just because it's fun for all ages to dance to, you know.
And that was Grant Lyon on the show. Thank you. Good night, everybody. That's it. We cannot. I mean, we're hitting the top here right at the start. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. No, that is great. Do you happen to know what band it was?
It was a California band. It was like a local band. But I still remember I was in high school for both of those weddings. They were, cousins that were like 10 years older than me. And I still remember, I couldn't tell you what they were doing Zydeco versions of some popular songs and then doing some like originals. And I still remember this one song everybody dancing to. It was like, ham bone.
Oh, I know that one.
Turkey soup.
I know that. I actually know the song. So my old college roommate, Steve Riley, he used to make so much money. They would go up and down California. Steve and Verla, I don't know if you know this, but up and down California, they have all these Cajun dance music clubs where people go on Sundays and they have a Cajun thing. And Steve would make so much money going up and down the California coast. Hey,
That's
Grant,
awesome.
we didn't come to talk about Zydeco, although I could. And I don't think we came to talk about your illustrious college career right there.
Look at that hair right there.
The banana slugs. Yeah, yep. This looks almost like coronavirus hair. Was that what it was? Was that what?
Dude, that was, and look how crazy blonde it was right then, too. I mean, normally I don't have this mustache, so normally when I show people that picture, they're like, shut up, that's not you. And I'm like, no, that was me. You know, I used to, when I was in college, whenever we would make playoffs, I would grow crazy facial hair, like for the playoffs, just to be like intimidating or whatever.
Playoff beard.
Yeah. One year I had sideburns that came to a point at the corner of my mouth. Yeah, but like thin. 1 year I had like a full goatee, but then spikes came off of it. 1 year I just grew this like super long billy goat. I mean, it was all bad, you know.
Before the show, Stephen Verla and I were talking about it, and I've got a little bit of beard here, but in law school I used to grow a thick giant beard, and people would always complain about it. And I'd say, no, I'm like Samson. If I shave it off, all the knowledge is going to fall out. You know, I don't want to be prepared for the finals. So, Grant, I know everybody remembers you from the Division II championship that you almost won for the Banana Slugs, but for people that don't remember that playoff run that you guys had, the Banana Slugs, give us the elevator pitch. Who is Grant Lyon, and why is he on my show?
Well, as you said, I am both a comedian and a board game content creator. So I've been a comedian for a long time. I actually started doing comedy when I was in college. My very first performances were on a tour bus performing for my soccer teammates. I would like stand up on the front of the bus with a microphone and be like, here's some dumb jokes for 10 minutes. And then I graduated from that to literally I'd be at like house parties, like college parties, where like a bunch of my teammates would be there, and they would shut off the music at a house party and be like, everybody shut up, Grant's gonna tell jokes for 10 minutes. And I would stand on a couch and tell jokes. And then, you know, by the time I graduated, I knew that I wanted to be a comedian, and I started doing it, you know.
Were you doing your material, or were you doing the, hey,
So,
how about that airplane food?
yeah. So my very first shows on the bus were doing all Mitch Hedberg materials.
Okay.
If you know any of it, do you
Sure,
know Mitch Hedberg? For anybody who doesn't know, he's like one of the greatest one-liner, like weird comedians of all time, which is so funny because I'm not like that at all, like on stage now. But like, for instance, here's one of my favorite Mitch Hedberg jokes. He's like, I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too. You know? Just like dumb random stuff like that. And so when I first started doing it was like me going up, and then my teammates and my coach were like, I want to hear some Grant Lyon originals. You got to write some of your own jokes. And enough people said it that I was like, at first I was like, nah, I can't do that. And then enough people said it that I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's funny. And then it just kind of went crazy from there. And you know, and I've been a lover of board games for like the last like 5-6 years. And it wasn't until the pandemic that I started making board game content, because all my tour dates got canceled and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, well, I want to do something else to stay creative. And what's something I love? You know, it's like, well, you might as well. During the pandemic, it's like, it was a good opportunity for people to be like, well, what do I actually love? And how do I focus on that? And I'm like, well, I love games. I'm going to do some like fun content about games. So, you know, I try to bring the comedy into that, but actually give real recommendations about good games, but still like make them funny and silly.
And you're talking Grant's Game Rex. And hey, look,
Yeah.
I know that comedians, I know you guys hate compliments, but Topher Graves said Grant makes really fun game videos if you haven't seen them on YouTube. And that's Grant's Game Rex right there on YouTube.
Thank you,
Isn't that
Topher.
right?
I appreciate it. Yeah, Grant's Game Rex. Yeah. If
So,
you
hey,
literally just throw Grant Lyon into the old YouTube machine, I'm sure you'll find stuff.
This is a live show, and so people are checking in. We got, hey, Kelly. Kelly was the first one checking in. Kelly, got any questions for Grant? Make sure you hit us on that one. And then our lefty writer down on the coast, Patrick's checking in. Of course, Jesse Fernandez, who's usually the first one. Jesse, a fellow game designer, by the way. He's working on
nice.
it. So it's not published yet. He is working on it. Board Game Grand from Down Under. She knows Zydeco.
Yeah.
It's a worldwide phenomenon.
I
All
know.
the way from Australia. How you like that?
That's awesome. Yeah. Underrated, man.
Dean, we don't have any pictures of Big Beard BJ, but
you don't have any pictures.
Not right now, but I wouldn't even show them because Grant, you've got the big beard look on some of those videos.
I know.
I mean, like really, when I thought you were doing shtick. I was like, oh my God, he's doing like a homeless guy doing.
Yeah. No, I mean, legitimately. So right at the start of the pandemic, my girlfriend broke up with me. And so I was like, well,
no.
I don't have any shows. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have anything. So that beard was the definition of letting myself go. That was literally like, well, none of it matters. I'm just going to stop shaving.
Hey, Dugas says Mitch Hedberg, one of his favorite comedians.
Dude, he's so great. I mean, he's one of those guys that was like on the verge of being famous and unfortunately died too young. But boy, he's great. You know.
Hey, check it out. That's Grant's YouTube page, and you can hit some.
Yeah.
So my buddy Dan talked to you a couple of weeks ago about one of your famous videos.
Oh yeah.
You know the one, the wrestler.
You know, it's funny because that's the one I have video of. So to people who don't know, a semi-professional wrestler came up on the stage and kneed me in the groin while I was on stage, which is a real thing that happened. And the craziest thing about that is like,
so wrestling is staged. Are you sure you weren't doing a bit about staging a wrestler?
I guarantee, I legitimately, like, I know you're joking, but legitimately, I think he thought it was a whole joke. I just wasn't in on the joke. You know what I mean? He could have kneed me a lot harder than he did. And actually, he kneed me sort of in the upper like thigh groin,
Because
not
he's a
actually.
semi-professional.
Yeah, exactly. He knows where to knee you. But it still was like, I wasn't expecting that. And you still made contact, you know? But the craziest thing about it is like not even my worst show. You know what I mean? Like that's how crazy
You
comedy.
never back down, though. I didn't understand that. Here's this big giant. Look, he
Yeah.
looks like, I forget which wrestler he looks like. I mean, he's a dead ringer for him.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
brush my shoulders off. A little street
Right.
cred right there. Never back down.
You've got the street cred.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. You've got
Dude,
the street cred.
Like I had like an 85-year-old, like legitimately, I think might have been an ex-Nazi, like take a swing at me on stage. You know, like stuff like that. Like I've had multiple people come onto the stage and try to fight me. And I never back down, which is like gonna be a problem at some point. Because, like you said, that wrestler dude was way bigger than me.
You're channeling your inner banana slug. Never back down.
And I'm not that big, you know. I'm like 5'10", 175, like, you know, normal size. A dude that's way bigger than you, if you don't back down, they kind of go like, oh, this dude's crazy. I don't want to fight crazy.
Right.
You know, nobody wants to fight crazy.
So, Grant, speaking of crazy, are you a comedian or are you a board gamer? You got to make a choice tonight. Which one is it?
Well,
tough choice.
You know,
but somebody's got to do it.
If I have to choose, I'm going comedy because that's what I make a living doing and stuff.
So you made more money with the comedy than you did with the YouTube videos. Is what you're telling me?
Yeah, just slightly, you know. But no, I mean, I've been a comedian for a long time, but you know, I think honestly, with entertainment, it's the thing. Like literally in comedy before, in like the 1980s, if you did a late night spot on Johnny Carson's show and he invited you over to the couch to talk afterwards, like your career was made. That's all you needed was one invitation. And like people would talk about that of like just waiting for that moment. Is Johnny going to invite you over to the couch or not? And that doesn't exist anymore. There's just so many outlets, so many different avenues, and everything's like a stepping stone. And I long ago stopped, you know, there's a lot of people in the entertainment business who go, what's going to make me famous, right? And they're always chasing the thing that they think is going to make them big. And, you know, it usually doesn't make them big. The difference, the line between being famous and not famous, I've realized is so thin, right? It's this one thing happened and that led to this thing, which led to this thing. And you got this person in your corner and it's all this sort of like avalanche, but there is no one thing. And, you know, it's like, I have a buddy of mine, Tommy John again, who I guarantee most people wouldn't know who it is. Tommy Johnigan's had 5 TV shows made about his life, something like that, 4 or 5, and none of them have aired, right? Like that dude should be famous and he's not, you know, and it's just who ends up seeing it at the right time and that sort of stuff. So, you know,
I don't know these names. Do you know these names? Patrick wants to know if you know Carolyn Picard. Wasn't she the one that was on the Enterprise? She was like the captain, or Mutzi?
Yeah, Picard was the like Captain Picard. But I don't know either of those people. No.
Steve wants to know about a Heckler response. Hey, I don't come down to McDonald's and kick you in the crotch while you're working.
Dude, I will tell you the greatest. So, you know, normally you have a microphone, you're going to beat a heckler. But one time I saw a heckler say something so good and the comedian couldn't come back to it all. The comedian was bald and was trying to say something and the heckler was like, "You're so bald I can see your dumb thoughts through your skull."
That just stopped it right there. Huh?
And it was like, what? You can't say anything to that.
Hey, so what do you do? You know, here, hey, Chat Krewe, here it is. We've got the professional. So I'm at a board game convention. And I'm trying to play games, and you got this board game heckler. Have you ever had to deal with that person? The one that comes stand over your shoulders, and he tells you what to do and how to do it. you know, and he's making comments and he's making jokes, and you're trying to play Coimbra or some really, you know, heavy game like Lisboa. And here's this guy doing shtick while you're trying to do that. What do we do? You're a professional. How do we get around that, man?
Yeah, you tell him to shut up. I mean, and you do it. The best way, it's the same way you do it in comedy, is in board games, is if you make fun of them and get everybody else laughing, then they're like, well, I don't want to be part of this. You've turned everybody against me. Now I don't want, you know.
They want them laughing at you, but if you're laughing at the bully, maybe they'll walk away. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You get everybody else. That's why, you know, so many comics, it's like laughter is a defense mechanism. That's how we learned it when we were like growing up, when we were kids, you know? So
another thing I want to tell you, so back in the 90s, I was a professional musician. I'm a little bit jealous of you, because in our green rooms, we didn't have anything to do. We'd set up for a show at noon, and the show's not till 8 o'clock, and I got 8 hours to kill, and we're just sitting there bored to death in the green room.
In the green room the whole time?
Well, sometimes we were leaving. Some club owners were dumb enough to let us stay on I was a country musician, so they would have the mechanical bull.
Okay.
And some of them were dumb enough to leave the bar and let us play with the mechanical bull.
And how many mechanical bulls did you break?
Bourbon and mechanical bulls don't go together, Grant.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, you from one of the interviews I heard, you got a chance to play actually board games in the green room with other comedians.
Oh, totally.
What's a good game to play just to have in your backpack? What's the one that you recommend? Have it in your backpack, ready to go when a bunch of friends are just killing time waiting.
Well, if you're playing with comics, it's got to be like a party game, right?
Okay.
It's going to be like a more adult, like party game, easy to play. Nobody wants, you know, with comedians, they're all trying to make jokes the whole time. So you can't get more than like 2 minutes for a rules explanation, because everybody's going to be making jokes. So I think a good one for that is Shit Happens, if you've ever played that game.
No, I haven't played that one.
It's like dumb and silly and funny. Essentially, and you know, basically the way it works is you have what's called a lane of pain, and they have a ton of cards, and it's got like a traumatic experience on it. It's like you walk in on your parents having sex, and then they score how bad that is, like emotional trauma that is, and you are trying to guess where it fits into your lane, you know? So if you're like, okay, well, I got like, my one card is doctor amputated the wrong leg, and that's a 90, and then I have, you know,
stubbing your toe?
Yeah, stubbing your toe, and that's a 3. Well, I got to pick where it's going to, so I just put right there, but maybe you have something like, you know, you have a cold sore for 3 months straight. You know, it's like, well, that's worse than stubbing your toe. Is that as bad as amputating your leg? Probably not, you know, so.
There's a game, Trial by Trolley, that sounds a little bit like that. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's got that one where you're constantly trying to fit in between the two worst things that could ever happen to you, you know?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I've gotten to the point where, like, I'm like a light to medium weight gamer. I like hobby games, but if I'm playing with comedians, it's mostly going to be like the more mass market sort of stuff, unless I'm with some specific comedians. You know, I've got some like good comedian friends that are now like gamers and that sort of stuff. Some of my roommates are real into games, but like, you know, Telestrations is another great one to play like in a green room, right? Because you don't even have, like, it's going to be a fun experience even if you're not keeping score, right? It's like half of the time I play that, I don't know how the points work in that game. I'm just trying to play. I'm trying to have a beer and find somebody. It's like, are you good at drawing? Then get out of here. Are you bad at drawing? Then I want you to play this.
I love games like that where you really don't care about the score. It's just about the experience. And Faye, you know what? That's a good idea. It's a board game show. We should talk about some board games. So let's get Verla up here. And Verla is actually the owner of the show now. I think she's the board game overlord. But
also, I want to say, I saw on the chat that Topher won a copy of Curmudgeon, insulting on the Brawlin brothers. So,
look at that!
Cool.
I missed that one.
Yeah,
congratulations!
Congratulations.
We're going to be talking about Curmudgeon later, and he actually got to insult Josh. Very nice.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it's Jordan. That's good. And that's Jordan from the No Cube Zone. He says it's sort of like Wavelength, but with terrible things. It's the reverse of Wavelength. Interesting. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to check that out. All right. So the game that I wanted to talk to you about is you've played a game called Jurassic Parts. And I got to play this one with Jay Bell. I have not done a lot of live gaming since March, but Jay's sort of in my bubble and we'll come across a 10-foot table and play some kind of game. And the one that we did was Jurassic Park. So disclaimer, I've only played it 2-player.
Okay.
Tell me about Jurassic Parks, Grant.
Yeah, this actually made my top 10 of the year. I think I put it on, I put it number 8 on my top 10 of the year. So it's a game I really like because, you know, for me, the games that are like the best games in my wheelhouse are games that have good decisions and strategy, but are easy to teach like non-gamers or people that don't play that often. And I think Jurassic Parts really fits into this. Like the components, like you're just showing right there, super nice and cool. And it's like, oh, there is a lot of choices where you're like, okay, where am I going to put this chisel? Do I want to spend an amber to like be able to get stuff? So the way the game works for people who haven't played it is you see this whole board and you are basically trying to place chisels and break off chunks of the rock. And then there will be fossils and you're trying to compile different dinosaur fossils. Whoever basically combines the most fossils for points wins. I will say, you know, you said you only played it at two-player. I like the game at 2 and 3 players better than I like it at 4 and 5.
Okay.
3 players to me, sweet spot for the game.
Good to know.
Yeah, because with 4 and 5, I mean, especially 5. 4 is all right, but 5, it becomes a little like random and chaotic. Like it's almost like at 2, 3, your choices matter. At 5, it's like there's just like you can't. Your choices aren't gonna like really do that much because there's just a lot of like chaotic randomness, and you're like, I couldn't even get in on this score, and I'm over here doing my own thing and stuff like that. So 3 to me is the best player count for that.
I did notice with 2 when Jay and I were playing each other. So like you said, you're carving off these different sections and then you flip over the tiles and hopefully you get some kind of match for the set collection. And you've got these special powers. I really enjoyed the special powers. I thought they were pretty neat. But you're right, with 2 players, I noticed that at the start, we kind of stayed away from each other. But as soon as we noticed that, oh, he's going for that big T-Rex, I'm going to take the rest of that T-Rex. We really horned in on each other. And there was a lot, especially as the board got smaller and smaller. It was a game that forced player interaction, but it didn't feel like a super mean game that was going to, you know, you just destroyed everything I tried to do.
Like, to me, one of the reasons I like it is I don't mind take that because comedians are all about like take that, right? We're trying to, and this is a game that has like some element of take that, but it's not like overly, and it's not like all the time. Like, and the take that is almost like in a choice where you're like, oh, if I put this chisel here and go this way, maybe I can cut them out of it, but maybe it doesn't work. Maybe they come back and they do something else, and you're like, you know, it blew up my idea.
That's exactly what happened. I tried to cut in on Jay one time, and he was like, oh yeah? And then my whole plan went out. I should have been better off just staying away from him.
Yeah, totally.
I don't like games like Unfair where the game forces you to be mean to people. And not only is it mean, Verla, in Unfair, it wrecks you. I mean, you've built up this whole thing, and then Grant plays a card and goes, ha ha! And all of a sudden, like, wait, you took all of my money?
And you're like, I spent the last half an hour building that. Well, I guess that didn't matter.
That didn't matter at all. That is rough, and that's a tough one. So Jurassic Parts, Kelly said she's played it only at 2-player also, and she's loved it too. Now that's from 25th Century Games.
It is.
We'll be talking about them.
Totally. Yeah.
Tell Chad to send me that big check, man. I'll be waiting. Big check. No, but Jurassic Parts, I was actually surprised. Area control, not one of my favorite things. But if it's in a short time frame, and what was this, like 40 minutes?
I mean, I would say max like 45 minutes. You know,
and it does look cool on the table. I was actually pretty impressed.
Yeah,
the rules are pretty simple. The amber pieces are awesome. The rules are pretty simple, and it was pretty phenomenal. Verla, you've played it with Kelly, or you haven't got?
Not yet. She's supposed to be coming down to see me in a couple weeks, and she needs to bring it so I can try it out because that's been on my list.
I'll give you Grant's cell phone number, and he can just call him up if you have any rules questions. And he'll get
Perfect.
So that's Jurassic Parts from 25th Century Games. Gives a thumbs up from Grant.
Thumbs up, big thumbs up. Top 10 of the year for me.
Nice.
Nice.
BJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Grant Lyon, and we're talking spicy hot games that we've played recently. I played the other one, but I've only seen this one. In fact, I was supposed to play it with Kurt, and I never got a chance to play it. And it's called Cinder from one of my favorite publishers, Smirk and Laughter this time instead of Smirk and Dagger. Tell me about Cinder. I'm a little suspicious about this name.
Well, so also I really like Smirk and Dagger, Smirk and Laughter too. They're just
shocker.
They're just good people, and yeah, I know, totally.
A company that designs all take that games, and Grant Lyon says, "I love them."
Yeah, totally. How can I ruin your night?
Color me surprised.
So in Cinder, you are setting up. I mean, at its core, Cinder is a push your luck dice rolling game. You are setting up dating profiles and trying to find dragons to date and match with. And that's one of the best part of the game. You can see here on this image, like the dragons have, it's essentially flavor text, but it's important flavor text. Sometimes in stuff, you're like, well, this is a flavor text. I read it once. I'm never going to read it again. Yes. In this, you are you're reading their profiles, that flavor text that's on the front. You're reading the profiles and trying to think about, is this dragon a match for me based on the profile I set up myself? So I've said my own, when I set up my own profile, I have to pick between, am I mild, hot, or cold? Am I a hoarder? Am I an investor? Or am I a spender? Right? And so then you're reading dragon profiles and going like, oh, this dragon seems high maintenance. They're a spender for sure. I'm a spender. So like, I'm going to pick to like try to date this dragon. And then you're like, rolling dice and trying to get hearts and stuff like that. To me, where this game really shines is in the theme. If you like playing games like for theme, that's where like this game I think is really funny in its theme. I'm somebody that's done a ton of online dating, so this really like hits home for me. I will say
dragons. You say you swipe up the dragons, right? So
yeah, totally. And so I think like if you've online dated before, that's why you're gonna like this game. You're gonna like it for the theme. The one thing I will say, like, just to like be aware of, is this game falls a little bit in that like it's got a little bit too many rules to be a party game, but it's not quite strategic enough to not be a party game. So, it's like sometimes it's like, well, who's the perfect match for this game, right? If I pull this game out with people who never play board games, they're like, wait, what do I have to do now? Like, there's like, oh, now I got to pull this card, and then this is going to change this dice and that sort of stuff. But I think, for gamer type people that have online dated for, I really recommend it for that type of a person.
Cinder, have you played it, Verla?
I have not played this one either. Love the artwork, love the theme and the concept. Just sounds hilarious. So another one I've wanted to check out.
It is one that's like, it legitimately gives you a laugh. Some flavor text, you're like, boy, you were trying to be funny here, but you are not accomplishing it. This one, it's like, oh, that actually is legitimately funny.
And that's Cinder from Smirk and Laughter. Grant says a party game, but maybe for people that are familiar with games, not the one you break out at Christmas time with your Aunt Myrna from.
And if you like the theme, that's the reason to play this game, because that's like, and everything feels very thematic in the game, so it all sort of feeds back into that. So I like it for that reason.
BJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Grant Lyon, and keeping that theme of games that are relatively easy to teach, right? Yeah. And also games you could break out anywhere. Here's one you could play in the green room. I don't think you've played this one, Grant. I have not played this one. MonsDRAWsity.
Oh, I see what they did there.
So Eric Slauson, a friend of the show, who's been on the show and a lover of all things pun, designed this game called MonsDRAWsity. It's out from Deepwater Games. MonsDRAWsity is very simple. I'm saying it wrong, Verla. CSI. It's like CSI meets Aliens. So it's there's aliens that came into your town, somebody saw, and they're trying to describe them, so they've got the agency with the coats and the names with the K and J and F and all this, and you're trying to describe it to the other players. And basically what you're doing is one of the persons has seen this alien, they stare at it for 20 seconds, flip the card back over, no one else sees it, and then they start describing it like it's a sketch artist in your typical CSI or any kind of police procedural. So you're describing, you got 2 minutes, and everybody at the table is going to start drawing what they hear you describe. Now, I can tell you this, you look at something for 20 seconds, there's a lot to look at in this little picture, right?
Yeah, totally.
What are you going to focus on? You're going to focus on the colors. You're going to focus on the fire hydrant, the teeth, the eyes, all these different things. You try your best in 20 seconds. You start giving it out. And then everybody, at the end of the 2 minutes, everybody shows you those drawings. You secretly pick the one you think is the best. Everyone votes on who they think is the best, and you get points from there. I'll tell you, the points don't really matter, Grant.
Yeah.
The funny thing is when somebody has that picture, and then they've got that for the drawing.
Well, because I'm I'm terrible at drawing. So that's why like a game like Telestrations is what I like, because it's like it's funnier if you're bad at drawing,
Right.
Steve's got it. I was trying to say Men in Black. It's like the Men in Black lineup artist, right? With the sketch artist.
Okay.
So
all right. This definitely sounds fun.
Look, you said it best. It's not you want somebody like me really bad at drawing. I think I was actually close. You think you know what we're talking about?
That wasn't bad at all.
But you get these. We're not Beth Sobel here when we're talking about drawing, and that's what's fun about MonsDRAWsity. You get these really crazy looking aliens, and you get these crazy looking drawings. And what I was surprised is that when I played it with my wife and my son, they're not the party fans. They don't really like all the party games, and so they were like, "Oh, another review game. You gotta show us this game." Within 2 minutes, they're laughing, they're picking on each other, they're having all these arguments about who is closer with the drawings or anything. So I'm thinking to myself, what a perfect Christmas game, or what a perfect green room game when a bunch of comedians are sitting around. The rules, I told you, that's the whole rules, 30 seconds.
Well, and
easy peasy.
This fits into that category. Some of my favorite games are like what provides memorable table moments, right? Where you're like, I'm not walking away talking about, remember that time BJ won the game. I'm talking about like, remember that crazy drawing somebody did? Like this has those memorable table moments for sure.
Verla, I know you and Steve enjoyed when Eric was on the show, and he told him, but this is before it came out, and now that it's come out, what do you think? I mean, it's
need to add it to the lineup and figure out how to play it via Zoom.
I
think that looks like it would probably work pretty well.
It seems like it would work great. I'm actually writing it on my list.
There it is. MonsDRAWsity. And look, the theme is carried all the way through. It's all about aliens. And they even have an expansion. I don't know if I have it. This is basically what's in the box. You got a bunch of cards. There's so many cards. There's so many markers. There's plenty of stuff here. There's also a little expansion, cute creatures with even more. And he's got a bunch of artists in there. So it's a bunch of I know. It's as good as Eric said. Eric is a designer to keep an eye out for. He really has an eye for games that are intuitive, easy to teach, play quickly, but also give you an experience. If I'm going to play a party game, I want it, like you said, to give me a good experience.
Totally. For sure. I remember that from when he was on the show. Like, I'm not super into party games, but pretty much everything he had to talk about, including this one, I was like, I could totally get on board with that.
Verla, next week, Jeremy Howard's on the show. We could maybe play this live.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that would be fun.
All right. One last game to talk about here. Let me see if I can get it out there. All right. BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Grant Lyon. And before we get to his game, I want to talk about one more game from 25th Century Games, because you had it on your list. Christmas Lights is a game that surprised me. Tell the chat crew what this game is about.
Well, this game is like, if you've ever played Hanabi or something like this, this is a great like family, easy to learn version. And it's just right. I think there aren't that many Christmas themed games, and I think we're all looking for that sort of stuff right now. If you're going home to hang out with your family over the holidays, like this is a great family Christmas game. The way it works is you will have a little board that shows you like 5 lights you have to put in order, and you'll have a hand of cards of these bulbs. You won't get to see your own cards. You're holding them out to other people, and you're trying to get clues on, oh, this is a pink bulb. I need to play a pink bulb first, so I know I need to do that. And it's, it's like one of those easily accessible, definitely any age can play this. Good family time for 30 minutes, Christmas themed.
This is how I sold it to my wife, Verla. I told her, just like the way Grant's describing it, I said, hey, you remember Hanabi a few years back? She didn't really like it because she doesn't really like cooperative games. What if we were playing competitively? And she's like, ooh.
And also, Hanabi is so hard. Like, I'm so bad at that game. And
Are you the fourth person that always is the one like 3 steps behind everyone else?
Every time I'm like, I don't remember. Was this one green or was this a 3? I don't know. It's been too long. I found that clue. The Hanabi is one that I've like tried to play with my family, because I think cooperative games are decent to play with like your family. And that's one that like everybody cheats at. Like I can't, my mom's like looking, she's got her cards and my mom's like, wait, I can't remember. Which one was this? Okay, and she's going to turn it around and look at it and then put it back. And I'm like, no, Mom, that's the whole point of the game.
You can't look. Yep. So Hanabi, a competitive version of Hanabi with cool art. It doesn't take long. I'm showing you pictures from the solo game. I couldn't find the picture that Lynn and I took when we played it. I was surprised it works actually well at 2 players. In fact, it's very cutthroat. She kicked my butt in it, 2-0 in it. It was actually, this was a surprise to me. Dean says it best. There aren't a lot of great, Grant said it best. There aren't a lot of great Christmas games, but if you want a list, hint, check out Meepletown. Dean's got a video that I have earmarked. Dean, I haven't watched it yet. I think he's got a whole video just based on Christmas games. Grant, Dean's the hero we always wanted to be. You want to play Christmas games? He's going to go through them all every year. Yes. In between watching all the Lifetime and Holiday Network. What's the name of that network? Hallmark.
Hallmark. Yeah.
While he's watching all those Hallmark movies, he's playing Christmas games, so you don't have to. He's going to separate the wheat from the chaff. So thank you, Dean.
I need to check that out because I'm weirdly obsessed with Christmas. Like it's a thing that all of my friends and family know about me. So I'm always like, I have a rule that I only play Christmas music during the month of December. like I was so into it one year, like, I don't know, this was probably like 8 years ago. Hard cider felt Christmassy to me. So I was like, I'm not drinking any beer in the month of December. I'm only drinking hard cider. And by the end of it, I felt like I had diabetes, from all the sugar.
Ooh, yeah. I just thought of something, Verla, for next week's episode. We need to make sure we have the Wham song.
Beverages?
No, we have the Wham song. We play it and we knock out the whole chat crew all at one time.
Okay.
So what's the name of that Wham? There's a Wham thing.
Last Christmas.
That one, right?
There it is. Oh, he just busted everybody.
The very next day, I gave it away. I'm not coughing now. This year, years, I'll give it to someone special.
Chat Krewe, you have all lost Whamageddon.
A man undercover. Just tore me apart. I'm telling you, I can do it.
He can do it all night.
Yeah.
Ooh, I just noticed that our buddy Evan says he is really bad at memory games. So Evan, there's almost no memory in this game. We should play this game for money, me and you. Christmas lights.
Honestly, this is this is a memory game where it's like you don't have to remember more than like 2 things at a time. You're like, okay, I remember that this one is pink and this one is green, and I just hold them in a certain way in my hand, and that's like the most.
I was honestly surprised. You cycle through the cards a lot more than you do with Hanabi. In fact, trying to remember the cards that just came through. I mean, they constantly cycle through. So yeah, it's not as bad as I thought I'd be. And that's Christmas lights from 25th Century Games. Check that out. Nice. BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Grant Lyon, and we're talking spicy hot games. And one of those spicy hot games is a game designed by you, Grant Lyon. Curmudgeon. 25th Century Games. Tell us all about it. It's a party game, but it's a game about silly insults, dummy.
Yeah. the way I like to describe it is it's sort of like Mad Libs for ridiculous insults. Awesome. Thanks for I'm glad you got a copy there. Thanks for checking it out. Yeah, I mean it's like Mad Libs for silly insults, and the focus really is on like the ridiculous, not on the like mean. Yep, you got a mic you can throw down or pass. That's the player indicator is a microphone. So the way the game works is everybody will have life cards out in front of them, and those will be like aspects of somebody's life. You know, it might be like teeth, it might be like a dog, it might be earlobes. There you go. Spaghetti, elephant, hamster, neighbor. You know, some of them are like normal and some of them are ridiculous. And then what you do is in your hand, you have insult word cards, and there are like a word or two words on them, and it is up to you to sort of throw the words together into like a crazy, silly insult, you know? So like, you know, literally I played this online the other day. It's up on Tabletop Simulator too.
Okay.
And somebody, you know, this is one of those games that you walk away with those memorable moments too. Somebody said they had the insult word card that said debt. That's all it said was debt. And they said, your spaghetti is in such debt, it's only allowed to call itself spa.
Hey, that's a good one.
I know. That's what I mean. Where it's like, it's dumb and silly and funny, right? And so, you know, it's about just the laughter and the moments and that sort of stuff. You know, the way that there is a point structure, it's like, if you notice, we tried to have like, there's
a game in here.
Yes, there is some structure and some format. And part of the reason there is some real like structure and format is because we wanted it to be open-ended enough that you can bring your own creativity and sense of humor into it, but it can't just be like free for all because it's too hard. It's like, then there's not any structure or anything that allows you to sort of like grab onto something. And so hopefully there's like a framework here, but you have a lot of creative license within that framework. You know, there are some party games, you know, I'm sure we all know, but some like mass market party games where it's like, I don't think those games are that fun because it's like, well, this card is pre-written. I have no agency over anything I'm doing. This is just boring.
I think I know the game you're talking about. Yeah.
Totally.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
It's just boring to me. Whereas like, so that was one of the things we wanted to do with this game was like, well, how do we give the creative license back to the players, right? You're not just putting down a card. You are getting to decide the joke. You are getting to but there's enough framework there that, you know, I've yet to play this with anybody that can't do it, right? We'll hear from some people, they'll go, oh boy, I'm not going to be able to make up insults. And it's like, yeah, but there's enough framework there that like you just throw stuff together and it ends up being funny and ridiculous. I mean, that's the thing. That's why I like to compare it to Mad Libs a bit, where it's like you don't have to think up this epic, amazing insult. Sometimes the stuff that's like the craziest that barely makes sense is the funniest anyway. Right. Where you're like, that's just so ridiculous, it makes me laugh.
Some of the funniest jokes I remember in college made no sense at all. It was somebody had this stupid remark in the middle of something funny, and you remember it forever. And what you're saying is we're going to get those experiences if we play this game. Just these really dumb things that people put together.
Totally. And
I love the sound of this.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And Evan said in the comments that can you get mean if you want to?
Ooh.
And totally you can, because you know, if you see the insult cards that are on the screen, it's like we're giving you a few words. You get to fill in a lot around those words. And quite frankly, the game is sort of PG-13 as it is. Like there's some suggestive things in there, like this middle finger is for you. You know, there's a card that's like, you know, things like that, but it never gets, and because it's really just this framework, this game ends up being as clean or as dirty as the people playing it. right?
I didn't take pictures of the ones that were a little bit more. Now, none of them are totally blue,
That's
but
what I
some
mean.
of them are kind of suggestive there.
Totally,
Grant.
totally. It's I think that's what I describe.
I've got people like Dave Dugas with sensitive ears. I want to make sure that I protect them. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we tried to make it like PG-13. Like you know, you could, if you wanted to play it with your 12-year-old, you could go through the game, take out 20 cards, and then you'd be fine playing it with your 12-year-old. But I've also played it with people in a bar at midnight where it's like the filthiest thing you've ever played. And it's like, hey, I'm not part of this. You guys are doing all of that on your own. Like you are adding all of that to the game, you know?
But it doesn't have to be that. You could literally play this with your aunts at Christmas, right?
Yes. I mean, and I've played this with people where I'm like, is this gonna, this is like a fairly like uptight, like religious type of, my mom is a uptight religious person. And I don't mean like uptight that I'm making fun of a religion. I mean, my mom is uptight.
Right. Yeah.
So she's just a very straight-laced, very proper. Like in my house, if I said pissed off, my mom would be like, don't swear in my house.
Ooh,
like that sort of like that. Okay. That's what I mean. And I played this game with my mom being like, my mom was like, I want to try it. I want to, support you. And I'm like, Mom, this is not the game for you. And we played it, and I was surprised at how much she liked it.
Topher wants to know, any consideration for an After Dark expansion?
Yeah, totally. I mean, obviously the game lends itself to that. We could easily make an After Dark expansion, and we could also make a, even toned down version of real family version if we wanted to, where we're making it very silly and that sort of stuff.
Dean wants to know, can he settle the family dispute with this?
That the answer is emphatically yes, please. Please use the game for that reason. I would love that. Holiday time, you don't want to insult your family in real life? Bring this game. You have an excuse to insult them.
Uncle Ben always wants to watch the Detroit Lions, and we're not watching the Lions this year for Thanksgiving. We're gonna have a curmudgeon battle to decide who's gonna control the remote.
Totally. Yeah. And there's like, I co-designed this with another guy who comes from the world of designing games more than I did before this. And so we tried to have like, there are some like gamery elements to it, right? Like having a lame card. Every player gets a lame card. So if anybody, just does a real lazy insult and they're like, your spaghetti is in debt, and you can just go lame and throw it down, and then like try to, basically it's a way to like kind of steal their turn.
I had to use it today on Twitter, Grant.
Yeah, I know. It was great. I loved it. I love the use of it.
I got Dave Dugas just johnning me there on Twitter, and I was like, lame. I was like, hey, I may carry this card around in my wallet.
Yeah. That's perfect. I would love that.
Somebody gives me some guff, like, nope, lame. How did the card? Because I broke up in the game. Grant, it came at a bad time. I've got two people, so this is a game that I think is going to lend itself to maybe some root beer, maybe 5 or 6 people drinking some root beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's great for that.
And I think what I'm hoping for. But how does this work? So we've got the insults, we've got the life cards. Give them the elevator pitch how that part works, because there's a game in here, guys. It's not
totally
a party game. Yeah.
So if you see the life cards have a point value on them between 1 and 4. And you have to simply meet or exceed that value with your insult. So you see the combination of insult cards. So you can see they're between 1 and 4. So if I wanted to insult spaghetti, I could literally use any card because it's only a 1. If I wanted to use neighbor, I got to use either 2 2s or a 2 and a couple of 1s right here. So if I'm saying neighbor, I might say, if I'm looking at it, I'm like, your neighbor's wig is so bad they've made a MoMA, a Museum of Modern Art piece out of it.
So it's that simple, just combining the words together, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And both of those had 2 on it, so I've met the 4 requirement right there. And so you just have to meet or exceed the point value requirement.
But it doesn't stop there.
Yes. And then once you have insulted somebody, they can concede the card and let you win the life card, or they can start an epic retort battle. And by throwing down these, you'll notice the retort battles are sort of fill in the blank, finish the sentence sort of stuff. So, you know, if I said your neighbor's wig is so bad they made a museum of modern art installation out of it, then, you know, you come back and you're like, yeah, well, your apartment is such a dump that you decorated it with those wigs. You know, just something like that. And now it's just the Uno style, match the color or the symbol to clap back, right? So if I insulted BJ's neighbor with the wig card, BJ threw down a green bomb. Now all I have to throw down is a different green card or a different bomb card, and then we're sort of like one-upping each other. And those are some of the most fun moments of the game, right? Where like you're like, yeah, well, oh yeah, well, oh, you know.
So we talked about Call to Adventure, a totally different game, but how sometimes we don't want to win. We want to put together these cards that make a story. I'm imagining times where I'm staring at 2 bomb cards, and I'm going to play the one that's funnier.
Yeah,
even
totally.
if the other one might be an easier win. Just I want to play something stupid, right?
Yeah, for sure. And again, that's, you know, there is a, like any party game, there is like a point structure, but you're not walking away remembering who won. So essentially, once a retort battle is finished, then whoever played the last retort card then gets that life card into their point pile, and then, you know, you play a bunch of rounds, and then whoever has the most point values on their life cards win the game.
Super simple.
Yeah, exactly.
So party game, is this one you think that comedians could play in the green room?
Oh, I mean, this was designed by comedians, so yes, for sure. I mean, honestly, I feel very lucky because, you know, early play tests, I just have a lot of my friends are comedians, and they are creative, funny people that aren't afraid to tell you their opinions on stuff. So a lot of the early play tests were other comedians. And then, you know, we made sure, we were like, well, I don't want this to just be fun for comedians. So then, you know, we started taking it to local game stores. We took it to Gen Con and play tested it in the unpublished room at Gen Con. We did a bunch of that sort of stuff. But comedians did help design it, so you know it's a funny experience.
And it's geared for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's geared towards more adult, right? I don't think you want to play this with your kids, but you know, I'd say sort of like 15 and up for me is like where this game really where this game hits.
People might be wondering why I took this picture, and Grant, it's to give you guys some kudos. Look how many cards are in this box.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys did a lot of, I turned it sideways to show you how thick it was. That's 3 piles of those, Verla.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I'm thinking, oh, it's a party game. Some of these party games, you open them up and they've got, you know, 50 cards, and you're like, oh, I just spent $25 on air.
Totally. Well,
this thing is packed to the gills, man. Look at this thing.
I'm excited for this. This looks awesome.
It's actually heavy.
Yeah. I think it's 330 cards total.
Oh,
It
wow.
weighs about 30 pounds, Verla.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's kind of expensive to ship.
Yeah. Well, you know, I get annoyed, just like you said, BJ, where it's like, I can play this game 4 times before I've seen every, like, man, that's boring. And it almost feels like, man, you're just like, you only made this to make expansions to get more money out of me. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to make a game like that. So I think, you know, this game is super replayable. And it's also, you know, because it's like just the, you know, the structure, the framework, people are filling in so much around it. It's like, nobody's going to say debt and spaghetti the same way, probably, right? You know, it's like you're filling in, but hopefully it stays really replayable because there are a lot of cards in there, and you're not gonna see the same thing over and over.
That is Curmudgeon from 25th Century Games. I don't see Steve in there, Verla. Did we lose Steve? Ooh. Oh, there he is. I see him now. Okay, I got it. I scrolled past him. That's Curmudgeon from 25th Century Games. Congratulations, Grant. First design. You've got some more designs on the way while I call up Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I got an idea for a follow-up game that'll still fit into that sort of like party, fun, memorable moments, but hopefully still have some like, gaming aspects to it.
Jay, the party is just starting, man. We're learning about Curmudgeon, and Topher's throwing out there for you. Your spaghetti is so old, it gave me the slow poops.
Right? I mean, that's what this game is.
Verla, if we're playing, we got to get Topher in the game. We're going to get Topher in
for sure.
Yeah. GFGG Con in Santa Cruz, and we invite Grant Lyon to teach us the game.
Yes, there we go.
He's the king of Santa Cruz, so we got to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so this is a board game show, Grant Lyon. That means we got to play a board game.
I love it.
Somebody told me you haven't played Just One, so I'm going to get my buddy, the name father, Steve O'Rourke, to give you a quick pitch on how to play Just One.
Okay.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. And I think, BJ, you said we've got this as a contest tonight, right? Yeah.
We have it as a contest. I've got a copy of Christmas Lights from 25th Century Games that I'll be handing out to whoever scores the most.
I want to be paying attention in Facebook chat, trying to track this as much as possible. What BJ's got for us is a list of, words or phrases. He's going to share them with the three. Now with him, four of us. We'll each have to write down in host chat a word or something that we would use as a clue for that. And if the four of us all give different clues, great. We'll give those 4 clues to the crew and they can try and guess what BJ's original clue was. The thing with Just One that makes it Just One is that only one person can say a clue. If 2 people match on a clue, those clues explode. Matter and antimatter, they're gone. And now they're just left with 2 clues or maybe 1 clue to solve things. So we're going to have to try and be creative and think of the clues we'd like to give. Maybe go at it a little sideways, but not too far that the people can't guess what BJ's original intention was.
Okay. Chat Krewe, you're playing for Christmas lights. So Grant, do you understand the rules of the game?
Yeah, totally.
Pretty simple. Not as simple as...
You're trying to be, outside the box, but not crazy.
Yes.
Right.
Or play for yourself like I do.
Yeah.
All right. So Topher, yes, we're playing it tonight. It's the, and by the way, Grant, the Just One clues all have some relation to the life of Grant Lyon. Grant Lyon, this is your life. We went all the way back to 3rd grade on some of these.
Boy, you really, found out some secrets. Yeah.
Oh, made some phone calls. By the way, your mom is very nice, Grant.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Very nice. She's a little strict on the phone, though. So
she's real strict in general.
BJ said pissed off and she hung up.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So let's switch over to host chat. Okay.
Right.
There.
I'm going to type in the word. Here's what you have to do. Think of your clue. Hold on to it, get it ready to go, and then I'll say 3, 2, 1. You just hit send, and we'll all see them because we don't want to see each other's clues. Okay.
Right.
So let me type the first one for you. Remember, all these have something to do with my research on Grant.
Well, also, thank you for doing research on me. That makes me feel nice.
Got to do some show prep.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the one. Now you got to think of something with that. Something that the chat crew will figure out from it. Man, maybe I made this game too hard. I'm not coming up with anything funny. Oh. So the goal of is for the chat crew to win, though. Okay. I've got it. I've got mine.
I got mine.
All right. So I'm locked in. Steven's locked in. Verla, thinking?
I'm like picturing something and I can't pull the word up, but it'd be so perfect.
Grant's got his.
I got mine.
All right, Verla, you got to go with whatever you got.
Alrighty.
3, 2, 1. Type it in. Oh, of course, Grant. That's why I didn't go that way. I stayed away from that one.
Yeah.
By the way, excellent job on that one.
Hey,
I was impressed. And if you don't mind, once we reveal it, tell people the story about how you ended up taking a bigger role in that.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
So do we have all? No, we don't have. We got them all. Okay, good. All right, so Chat Krewe, here you go. Here are your 4 clues, and you got to figure out the word or words that come from this. The clues are Super Bowl, CC's Pizza, Jingle, and Break. All right, Chat Krewe, start typing it in. So while we're waiting, Grant, tell us a little bit about CC's Pizza.
If I Am I gonna ruin it if I tell the story of this? Am I gonna
Maybe
give
so,
away
huh?
too much?
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
Thought of that.
I'm
Oh,
watching
okay.
Facebook
Well,
chat. I'm not seeing anything yet.
yeah, we've got a couple of answers. We've got mustache. Quick. Yeah. Expect some funny ones from Evan tonight. Quicks of
Yeah.
Fiddlenberg. No, you do not win with that one. Do we have anybody yet on that? So clues are Super Bowl, CC's Pizza, Jingle,
Paul's got
and
it.
Break. Oh,
Paul.
Paul's got it. All right, now we're safe, Grant.
Okay.
Tell us the connection.
So I did this. I've done a bunch of commercials. I've done like 10 commercials at this point, like TV commercials. I'm actually this year. I was currently in a big Sam Adams commercial.
Oh, I hadn't seen that one yet.
Yeah. And CC's Pizza. Essentially, the commercial was, I'm like the manager of a CC's Pizza, and I'm like talking about like, well, this lady always wanted more cheese on her pizza, so now we made more cheese on her pizza. And then it was supposed to cut to Casey and the Sunshine Band doing more. No, but it was supposed to be a different song. What's Casey and the Sunshine Band's like big song?
Down tonight. Dun, 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 down tonight.
No,
It's
a little dance.
Celebration is cool.
no,
Celebration
it-
is cool in the game.
That's the way. I like it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So it was supposed to cut to being like, this lady wanted more cheese on her pizza, so we put more cheese on her pizza. Cut to Casey and the Sunshine Man being like, that's the way. I like it. Casey never showed. They sent him a limo to pick him up, and he was like, yeah, I don't want to do it. Like, literally, there are 100 people on set. I mean, shooting anything, like there are a ton of people involved. You might not, if you're not, familiar with all like shooting stuff, like there are, they've rent this CC's Pizza. There are no CC's Pizzas in Los Angeles, so they built a CC's Pizza set for this commercial.
Wow.
And then this guy was like, yeah, I don't want to do it. And they were like, you couldn't give us a heads up like before this? So literally, the director before lunch says, all right, Grant, you're wrapped, like you're done. And I'm like, well, I want free lunch. So I'm like sitting here on set. The director comes up to me at lunch and he's like, can you stick around more? And I was like, yeah, why? And they were like, well, your role just got bigger. And so they were like, he's not coming. So now you are the person that's going to do it. And so I ended up doing the commercial, like maybe singing 4 different songs in the commercial because they didn't have the light. They were like,
that's true.
They were like, if Casey's not here, he's going to give us the license. So I shot it. I shot it with the Casey song.
Right.
Shot it with like the more. I think
Is that ABBA, maybe?
I don't know who that one is, but I shot like 4 different songs. So they were like, well, hopefully one of these is going to give us the license to do this.
That
right?
is crazy.
Yeah. Also, I think actually the commercial turned out better because you cannot recognize Casey from Casey and the Sunshine Band anymore. Like if it cut to him, you'd be like, who's this weird old overweight guy singing all of his? You wouldn't be like, wow, they got Casey and the Sunshine Band to be in this commercial. You'd be like, this is weird that this like old fat guy is singing now.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I think it made more logical sense that I was in it because I'm like, oh, you saw me earlier in the commercial. Now you cut to me singing now.
You can find it on YouTube. Check out that CC's commercial.
Grant Lyon and the Sunshine Band.
All right, let's go to number 2. And again, these are all vaguely connected to your life, Grant Lyon. So let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
Here's the next clue.
Are we limited to a word? We're playing a word. We'll play this straight.
One
word.
I messed up last time. I said CC's Pizza.
Oh, that's true.
That
was just a
No. I was thinking about this particular clue. I have to be careful.
Oh, see, I thought you were going a different way, Steve. Immediately, I was like, okay, I'm not going this one because Steve's going to go that. And now I'm thinking I'm safe. So I'm going to go with my what I wanted originally because it doesn't sound like Steve has it. Okay. So I've got mine.
I got mine.
Steve, Grant.
I got mine.
Verla?
Yep.
Verla, you know Steve Martin?
Oh, bitch.
Oh, screw that one up. Dang it.
The only thing you couldn't say.
That was dumb. All right, let's move to the next clue then. By the way,
what were your other ones? Banjo was my other choice, BJ.
King Tut was my other one.
Tut was I just typed in Tut.
I thought you were going to go banjo though. What was yours?
That would have been my choice.
I did banjo.
Oh,
I was gonna do arrow.
That would have been good too.
Was arrow. Yeah.
I wonder if they would have got it with Tut and actor.
Oh, Chat Krewe screwed that one up. So let's go to the next one. Man. All right, here we go. Here's the clue. Again, only vaguely connected to Grant Lyon. So tough one though, I think. Oh, I got to keep my mouth shut. All right, I've got mine locked in.
Yeah, I think so.
Grant?
All right, I'm good.
Verla?
Yep.
Go. 3, 2, 1. Hit it in there. Interesting. Okay.
That's a tough one for people.
Yeah.
Good luck, Chat Krewe. But here we go. Your 4 Chat Krewe, your 4 clues. And remember, you're playing for a copy of Christmas Lights. It's mascot, hair, fruit, and mustard. Oh, is there anything we could do with that one? So I thought I read somewhere that Steve Martin was one of your inspirations. Is that right?
For sure. I mean, Steve Martin basically accomplishes what I want my voice to be on stage, which is smart and silly, right? He's at the same time intellectual and also just really silly and ridiculous all the time. And that's what I aspire to be. You know,
I've heard you describe yourself as a little bit smart and a little bit goofy. And Steve Martin was always that to me. There was a smart edge to his comedy, and then all of a sudden he would come out with an arrow in his head. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of the reasons I love him very much.
Yeah, so I'm getting a little bit of Johnning over here, but not as bad as Casey and the Sunshine Band, because you can go to any state if you want to see him. No, Dean, you do not win Steve Martin.
Also, if you like Steve Martin, you should read it's one of the best books by a comic about stand-up is his book, Born Standing Up. It's really, really good and really interesting.
I read the one that he came out, his very first book. My dad actually bought it. My dad loved comedians and loved Steve Martin especially. And I can't remember the name of it. It was a book with his routines in it. It was a really dumb book. God, yeah. Look it up. I don't see it. All right. So everybody's saying mustard, but that's
one of the clues.
Somebody asked what the 4th clue was.
Oh, I see. Okay. So hair, fruit, mustard, and what was the other one? Hair, fruit, mascot. Yeah. Oh, okay. That one.
I don't know that they're gonna get this one on a.
Got somebody close.
I mean, it's hard.
It's close.
I think we're gonna have to call this one. Grant,
what? Well, how about one bonus clue?
Oh,
one bonus clue right here, because this is what I was going to say, and then I was like, somebody else is gonna say this, so I can't say it. So I got a bonus clue. Your bonus clue is slime.
Good one. Good one. Yeah, good one.
It's good.
We'll see if anybody. While we're doing that, while we're waiting, we'll put in the next one. And here we go.
I'll keep watching.
You can start working on this while Steve keeps an eye out on the public chat. All right, here's your next one. See what we got. All vaguely connected to Grant Lyon in some way or fashion. What do we have? Okay, got one. We'll see. Anybody get it, Steve?
No, they're saying that Kelly got it with Nickelodeon because they were thinking Double Dare.
No, sorry, it was not Nickelodeon. It was Grant. What was it?
Banana Slugs.
The Banana Slugs.
I showed like
3 pictures of them at the start of the show.
It's true.
Banana Slugs. Okay, so everybody got their clue?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks. I think so. I'm not sure y'all gonna get it. We'll go.
3, 2, 1. Ooh. Wait, I have no idea what Steve's is. I don't know that one. All right, here we go, Chat Krewe. Some tough clues for you. Your 4 clues are Chocula, Nesquik, Bosco, and Cow. Bosco, Steve. You're going to have to tell me about that one.
I don't know either.
Sure. So you actually played D2 ball at Santa Cruz, right?
We did, yeah. Yep, yeah.
So the Banana Slugs are famous in our world here in the South because they're actually a pretty good baseball team.
Oh,
yeah, and college baseball here in the South is pretty big. So I'd heard the nickname before, and it's one of the strangest ones I've ever heard. Do you know this?
Oh, yeah, we get voted like best mascot in America all the time and stuff like that because it is just so weird and unique. Banana slugs. There are legitimately banana slugs on campus all the time, and there's a tradition in it.
Really?
It's been a tradition since the school started. Is like incoming freshmen, you got to kiss a banana slug. I mean, they're huge. They're like this big, and they're bright and yellow. They're kind of bright mustard, which is why I put the mustard clue with the kind of that color.
That makes sense.
They're that color, yeah. And so they're poisonous. Not like crazy poisonous, but if you kiss them, your lips go numb and stuff like that. So that's like one of the traditions. Now,
I think we have a winner.
Yeah.
I think we do.
Good job, Evan.
What were you going to say, Grant?
It's the administration tried to change. The Banana Slugs was what like the students voted it to be the mascot from the beginning, and the administration tried to change it to the Seals in like the 1970s, and the student body like rioted. And there is a statue of a seal on campus, and one of the big traditions on campus is every year on a specific date, the seal gets painted yellow, and they have to like remove all the paint and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So Evan got the answer. Chocolate milk was the answer. And here's our next clue. Are you ready?
I have a question. I wasn't sure, this being my first time playing, is Chocula too close? Because I'm thinking of Count Chocula with chocolate milk. Is that too close to saying chocolate? I wasn't sure.
Verla is the overlord.
I think it's fair game.
She said it's fair. Congratulations. Here's your next one. Again, some of them very tenuously related to Grant Lyon. So,
yeah.
What do we have for that one? This is dumb. I should have thought of these clues beforehand, right? I've sure been prepared for my game.
Also, can you please explain Bosco to us?
Oh, yeah. We're going to do that.
That might be a New York thing. That's a Seinfeld episode where George is, it's his password, but he likes chocolate milk and Kramer's trying to guess it. And he's like, no, it's not just the regular one. Hershey's. Quick. Which one is it? And Bosco is another kind of chocolate milk.
Okay.
All right. I think I got mine.
I got mine.
I do not.
Come on, you got to do it.
Yeah. I know you do.
3,
No pressure.
2, 1, hit it.
Okay.
All right, we got 4 clues here. Somebody cheated on one of those, though. But we got cable, we have network, we have channel, and we have Key and Peele. That's one word. Key and Peele. Yeah, so I actually don't remember. Why did I choose chocolate milk, Grant? What was that about? I don't remember.
Oh, it's because of my favorite commercial I ever did was for Johnsonville sausage.
Yes.
And I'm playing like a 30-year-old who still lives with his parents.
Yes.
And so the whole premise of the commercial, it's really funny. It's like an actually funny commercial.
It's good. It's a good commercial.
Yeah. If you the whole concept was my parents try to lie to me and tell me they can't, that the Johnsonville sausage factory burned down, and so they can't give me Johnsonville sausage. And I'm like, then I might as well move out. And they're like, yeah, maybe you should. I'm like, no, we got to fix this situation. And then the ending was like a whole ad lib thing where I was like, I'll take dinner in my room with chocolate milk.
That's where I got it from. And somebody told me that you ad libbed that at the end.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
With chocolate milk. All right. So Jay Bell picked it right away.
I think so. Yep.
Didn't take him long. He got Comedy Central. Congratulations, Jay. Here's our next clue. Grant, are you ready?
I am ready.
Again, all vaguely connected to my research of Grant Lyon. What do we put here, though? Oh, I got it already. I know the one. Some of these are going to be easier than others, I think, Steve. This is going to be one I give the Chat Krewe 5 seconds, unless we all buzz out. We got him?
Yep.
Steve? Steve still thinking?
A second or three.
All right, there we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, 4 clues for you. Oh, this is going to be so simple.
Yeah.
All right, Chat Krewe, here's an easy one for you, and you're playing for Christmas lights from 25th Century Games. We got Mo, Marge, Smithers, and Flanders. How easy could that be, Grant?
It's who can type the fastest.
Well, I almost put the same thing as one of the other clues, and I deleted it and changed mine.
Really? Which one?
So,
in number, which one was it?
It was the third one. I almost
based on your background, I would have picked number 1. I would have thought you would have done that.
Yeah. Well, I was like, you want the game, right? It's like you don't want to be too obvious, but you also don't want to be crazy.
Holy cow! Look at this. We got tons of people. I think Jay snuck it in.
I think
so.
Jay.
think Jay snuck it in. All right.
I think Jay did.
So give us, what is that? And why did I pick that one, Grant?
Because it's like was the biggest influence on me being a comedian. I mean, that's like, I grew up, I told you my mom was strict. I grew up in a strict family. I wasn't allowed to like watch much TV. So The Simpsons was my introduction to comedy. I mean, that's, you know, people always ask like, which comedians are your biggest influence? And yes, I have actual stand-ups that are influenced, but none of them are as big as The Simpsons.
Simpsons. Yep. All right. I just put out our next clue. So take a look. I've got mine locked in already. Yep. Chat Krewe. I knew the Chat Krewe would be all over that. I mean, so many people dropped on that one. That was a big one. You could tell right away.
I'm torn between two.
You got it? Grant, you've got yours locked in.
I got mine.
Yeah, that didn't take you long, man.
Nope.
Verla, you got one?
Yes.
All right, here we go. 3,
out.
2, 1. Punch it in. Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know that one, so you have to explain this one. So we got
Which one? Mine?
Yeah, why don't you read them out? Because I don't even want to mispronounce any of them.
Okay. The clues are cred, beef, hip hop, and Far Side.
Interesting. There's enough there for the Chat Krewe to get.
There is.
Yeah, for sure.
There's enough. It's yeah, there is enough on there for that one. Simpsons still going on. How many years is it now?
I think they're in their
35.
I think it's might be 32.
We're trying to figure out who's going to die first. Is it Lorne Michael or Homer Simpson?
Yeah.
Who's going to die first?
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, they did have a cast change for the first time in a long time. So they're on their 32nd season right now.
Okay.
You know, that does not, when you talk about the 32nd season, that does not include the years that The Simpsons was on the Tracy Ullman show and stuff too. So it's been around for more than 32 years. But
wow, nobody's getting it yet. Look at this.
Oh, they're in the vicinity.
You know, the big thing that changed recently, you know, because Hank Azaria was doing sort of all of the he was doing a lot of the minority characters, and now he is no longer doing that they are actually getting people from that background to do those characters, which I think is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, sure. He is talented, but you know,
yes, for sure.
He doesn't need to do 12 different. 12 different. Don't see anybody getting it. Wow.
Wait, can we do another? Can we do another bonus clue?
Oh yeah, sure. Give it to us.
Go for it.
Board game.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. All right, so Chat Krewe, we've got board game, Far Side, hip hop, beef, and bread. I thought my clue was going to give it to him right away, but I don't see it. No.
Not seen it yet either.
I don't know this one, Evan. Brimley's Pop and Lock. I'm not sure what that is.
You know, to be fair, this is a fairly new game, so some people just might not know it.
Yeah, but
Gumbo fans should be here.
The designer and the artist.
There we go.
We actually the artist.
There it is, Jay.
the Board Game Brothers are from New Orleans, and the artist actually came on the show. So
Oh, cool.
Hamu's,
All right.
Hamu's a good friend of the show. In fact, every once in a while, we'll see Hamu in the comments. So sometimes he'll check out the show. Wait, Evan says he's been to Moe's Tavern. Interesting. Interesting.
That's
so
cool.
is that Jay gets Rap Gods?
I think Jay was the first one I saw.
Although Kelly technically spelled it correctly.
That is true.
Yeah.
Although if we ask the Overlord here,
I step out of that
conflict
one.
of interest.
There's a conflict of interest.
Yeah. we've only got 2 left, so let's see what we got here.
Oh, you
Ready?
wanted me to explain my clue. The Far Side is my favorite hip hop group of all time.
Mhm.
Oh,
I don't know.
they were like a early to mid '90s hip hop group, and they're awesome. They only released 2 studio albums, and it's just not enough. But they're awesome. You would recognize some of their songs. Some of their songs have been sampled and stuff like that. So the funny thing, I don't know if Topher Jay running away with it is actually like a Far Side song.
Oh, really?
Can't keep running away. Oh, and if you want to hear funny hip hop, that Paul just said in the chat, Yo Mama song is one of the funniest hip hop songs
Wow.
you will ever hear. Your mom is so fat. How fat is she? She rolled up on the back to get some burgers from Wendy's and her skates went flat. I got stuck in her butt crack. I thought she
We're going to have to do a music show with Grant. We're going to get him back on and just do all music the entire time. We've had more singing on this show, I think, than any other one.
Yeah.
Usually it's just me and Alex that sing, but I've got Grant, another fellow singer. So this is fun.
Yeah. I
All
love
right.
singing.
So do we have our clues for the next one?
Oh, I didn't even look. I was so busy talking about the Far Side.
Far Side bits.
Your mama's so distracted.
And you know what's actually one of the funniest things? Now that I thought this totally brings it full circle here. At the end of that song, Your Mama song by the Far Side, they have an outro where it just sort of fades and they are giving Yo Mama jokes back and forth.
That's
and
cool.
One of the last ones you can hear before the volume is too low is your mom's so dumb she tried to be an extra on The Simpsons. Right there.
Wow, it brought it back.
Yeah, really did.
All right, 3, 2, 1, put in your clues. Oh, y'all went with the easy ones. Come on. Come on.
We also went with the legal ones, BJ.
Make it
Come on,
tough,
man. Come on.
All right, here we go. We're making it tough for you. Here's your 4 clues, chat crew. All vaguely connected to Grant Lyon, Maxwell Smart, Cordless, Android, and Nokia.
Wait, now I'm not sure how this one's connected to me.
Think about it.
This is the first one that I'm like, oh yeah, that's supposed to be connected to me. Okay.
See, when you're a big Hollywood star, you have to call your agent to find out. Was it like this? All right. So, do we have anybody there? Whoa, I lost the chat for a second. You have to check it out for me.
What? Jay's got it again.
Jay's on fire.
Jay with the big one. Jay's got okay, here we go. I'll check who's back there.
Also, now that we've already given out the rap gods, I did a top 10 list for Dice Tower, and rap gods was my honorable mention on there.
Nice.
So very high for me. Still love
By
that.
the way,
game.
Rap God's good. I enjoyed it. Hoop Gods, fantastic.
Better. Okay.
Hoop Gods. It's a one-on-one game. It's fantastic. I won't tell you the score between me and Jay. I'm not gonna tell you. I'll let him talk about it. But yeah, so we got no, it wasn't shoe phone, but that's where I was going with that. It was cell phone, and Jay is the winner. We only have one more left.
Topher, not shoe phone, but you missed it by this much.
All right, the last one. Let's see what we got here. Are we ready? Last one. Making it tough. Making it tough. All right. I've got mine.
I think so.
I got mine.
Yep.
3. Oh, wait, hold on. I typed it wrong. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. Well, maybe, hopefully, no chance. No chance.
All right, here's
Great.
ever the Cylon. Here's your 4 clues. It's Mama, Retort, Grumpy, and Spiel de Jar. Now, there's a reason for that clue, though.
Yeah.
I knew where you guys were going with yours, so let's see what we got here.
Yes. You knew where we were going with ours. We have no idea where you were going with yours. There's always going to be some place where you go sideways.
Jay, I'm not bringing up that win. I'm bringing up those wins.
Oh.
3-pointer at the end, 7-6. Woo! Oh, that was a fun game. Hey, it's one of those games. It's one of the games. Grant,
Dean.
you'll remember the score.
Why do you like Hoop Gods more than Rap Gods?
If you ever played street ball, I mean, I grew up playing, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 1-on-1 ball. It's the closest to a sports game that I've ever felt. I mean, you just feel the action, you just feel the ebb and the flow going back and forth.
Okay.
It's a tight design. It could actually you could turn it into a soccer game or a lacrosse game. They could actually turn it into those. It's a system that is really cool. It just plays quick.
Great. Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons I like Rap Gods too, right? Is theme matters to me in a game. And that game just feels very thematic and everything's connected to that. And I just was like very happy that I think when most people think of like a rap, a game focused on hip hop or rap, they're like, "What is this game gonna make me rap or something like that?" It's like, no, God, no, please don't do that.
You know what my problem with Rap Gods, and I love the game. I actually I have a copy of it right over there on the shelf. My only problem was that when I looked at the game and you look at the board looks like some kind of really complicated Kinderspiel type of game. And the game is actually about as friendly as Ticket to Ride. It's
Totally,
really,
It's
really,
not that
really
hard.
So I love lightweight games. It's just that this one it's less lighter than it looks. That kind of threw me off, and that juxtaposition was it just didn't feel like the board and all the cards and the mechanics and everything lived up to what that lightness was. So, but again, well designed, lots of fun. Also, I'm not that much of a fan of the beef mechanic. That the rolling dice thing, it just never seemed to work right. I like the rest of the game. I don't know why you want to include the beef mechanic. I think it's
and it does. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. I like the beef because I want that player interaction, but it is hard to want to choose the beef because you're like, well, why am I going to risk not getting any points this time
on a dice roll?
Mitigate,
but not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've lost plenty of beefs to get frustrated with that.
I would like to talk to Omari in 5 years and say, Omari, what would you do better now? Because his skills as a game designer are just growing exponentially. I think 5 years from now, he would say, I would probably tweak that beef mechanic. His vocabulary will be a lot bigger. I'm not a game designer, so Grant, unlike you, I can't fix the game. I wouldn't even know where to start, but I just know what I feel. Hoop Gods, I'm telling you, I recommend it to anybody, even if you're not a sports fan. You should get it.
Well, I am a sports fan, so that makes it even better.
BJ hasn't bragged about beating Jay Bell this week. Well, unfortunately, I have now. So it's all right. So that's just one. Grant Lyon finally got to play just one. What'd you think?
I love it, man. That's like that's a perfect game to add to my collection. That's something I for sure want.
We play with family and friends, and we don't even really care about the points. We're really for the experience and the fun. And when when you're begging somebody not to take your clue, and they do anyway. So.
Well, it's funny
because you could do that one over Zoom too. You could do that one electronically.
Totally.
Just write it down on a piece of paper. You totally do it.
And one of the things I like, it's like I never, even growing up, I never liked Scrabble. I'm not good at it. I'm not. And so I always assume like, oh, I don't like word games. And then you play code names, or you play Just One, or you play some of this stuff, and you're like, oh no, I just don't like Scrabble. There are plenty of word games that I like.
Yep, that is a good point. Yep.
Yeah.
And Just One is one of those. I do get stressed out when I'm the one guessing, because I'm staring at all these things and everybody knows what it is, and I feel this tension and this stress. I'd much rather be on the other side giving it dumb clues. You know,
Yeah.
trying not really, trying to be as obtuse as possible. But that can be a little stressful. But
Yeah.
we like stressful games on the Gumbo, right, Steve?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, I'm gonna send Verla and Steve back down into the green room. That
So
was
Jay's got, just for the record, Jay's got the win.
Oh yeah, congratulations.
What was it? Because I saw Evan won a couple, so it was close, right? What was it like?
Jay ended
3
with 4.
Oh, okay.
And even though BJ determined that he wanted to play by throwing Steve Martin out there, Jay gets revenge for Hoop Gods this time.
Yeah.
Sure does. Good job, Jay.
And
Well
I
done,
sent
Jay.
shipping, Grant. Jay lives right down the road.
Oh, nice.
Wait, is this rigged?
Someone just bury me now so that BJ can mention his wins. Oh, Jay, you made my night. It's fun. Hey, keep practicing. Keep practicing. We're going to get that. Yep. All right. So let me send Verla and Steve. Thank you guys for playing Just One. Love that game. We haven't played in a while, so that was
No, it's a good one.
a lot of fun. All right. Let me send that back down. So, yeah, Grant, that's our game. Brought to us by the Game Crafter link, our copy of your very own board game playing cards, which I have right here. You can check that out anytime. Laissez le bon temps bourré. Bourré, a very competitive, cutthroat gambling game. If you like little mini tiny trick taker games. If you're a basketball fan, Washington Wizards, many years ago, there was that gun where they brought the gun into the locker room over a bet. That was this game, Bourré.
All right.
It was pretty bad. Before I let you go, I wanted to let you know about something that's coming up. Strike, one of the most strategic thematic games out there. Strike, we're having a charity tournament this weekend, this Saturday. We've actually got a couple of famous people. John Lee Brady and Rio are going to be there as celebrity people with it. It's Team Gladiators versus Team something. I can't read. Something Dyson something. Can't remember what it is because the Strike game is all about gladiators in arena battling back and forth. I'm on Team Gladiators. I'm going to be doing that for charity on Saturday. I'll be playing for the New Hope Foundation. So cheer me on. I've been working for a year, just perfecting my strategy, really thinking about all the things we have to do to win this dice game. So it should be fun. Have you ever played Strike?
I have not. No.
Very interesting. You should check out my words because I may not be telling the truth about how strategic that game is.
Okay. It's so hard. I mean, there's just so many games. It's like it's so hard to keep up, right?
I may be exaggerating a little bit about the strategy. You're throwing dice in a little tiny bowl, but
Okay.
It's okay. It's gladiators in arena battling each other.
All right.
All right, board gamers, that's it for another episode of Gumbo Live. I want to thank my guest, Grant Lyon, for coming on the show, man. We've been talking about this for weeks, and I was so excited to hear it.
Yeah.
How can people reach you if they want to watch Grant's Game Rex or if they just want to interact with you on social media?
Yeah, Grant's Game Rex are real easy to watch on YouTube. If you just do youtube.com/Grant Lyon, it's Lyon. You'll find all my game recommendations. I think I have like over 75 now, and they're all like between 1 minute and 2 minutes. You know, so you hear a little bit about the game and you get a couple of jokes. So it's like, hopefully, it's like there are enough game recommendations for people who aren't gamers, and there are enough jokes for people who are gamers who already know the game. You know what I mean? And if you want to interact with me, I'm on social media and all that sort of stuff. Grant Lyon 1, the number 1 on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. So you can hit me up there.
Make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com Board Game Gumbo, or our YouTube channel. It helps us get the word out about all of our upcoming shows, including our last show of the season. It's Jeremy Howard, Jambalaya himself from Man vs. Meeple. He's got a big crap ton of board games that he's going to be giving away right on the show. So if you want to watch it, come check us out next week. Grant, you have anything coming up that you want to plug? You have any appearances that you're going to be coming up as far as you know?
Well, I mean, touring is rough right now. I mean, it's not happened very much for the pandemic. But if you're interested in seeing my comedy at all, or hearing my comedy rather, I had an album that came out earlier in 2020 that hit number 1 on the comedy charts. So it was number 1 on all different stuff. And they play it a ton on Sirius XM. It's called Scheduled Fun Time. And you can literally hear it everywhere you hear music. Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, all that stuff. If you just search my name, you can listen to my new album, Scheduled Fun Time. It's like an hour of jokes.
My 7-year-old niece loves comedy, so I'm gonna make sure to pick up the album so that she could listen to it. So that is fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. I am BJ from Board Game Gumbo, and until next time, Grant, laissez le bon temps rouler.